Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Yep. I don't normally have trouble with people hearing me. I'm Bridgman. I'm the Managing Director of Warren Services. I've got a short video I'm going to play you first. Can we have the video, gentlemen? Yep. Good morning, everyone. People quite often say to me, what does Warren do? Warren is a contract manufacturing company. So we work with amazing businesses around the world to make their product for them. And there's a number of reasons for that. Sometimes they have the capability, but they don't have the capacity. They're expanding, their product range, and they don't have the capacity to make this particular product, and we will make that product for them. Or some of them do not have any manufacturing capability at all. So they partner with us. They've got amazing engineering in-house, they've got great sales, they've got a great product. They would partner with Warren Services to manufacture their product for them. Like the gentleman said before, you could all be concerning yourselves with, oh, robots are going to steal our jobs, AI is going to take all our work away. It's not in manufacturing. I think, particularly for us, we're Warren Services. We make stuff and we build stuff. You saw a lot of people designing things, working in offices. Our core competency, what we do every day, is make stuff and build stuff. And most of that is done with machinery, but it needs the people. Any fool, I always say, can buy millions of pounds worth of machinery, but without the right people, you have not got a business. And what we do, most of ours is relatively low volume. Someone's saying about Lotus being high volume, but when you talk about massive car companies, they're making thousands and thousands. We're at most making 100 a month would be a very, very, very high volume for us. So it's very, very difficult to fully automate. All of the machining is done by machines, but it's instructed by humans. We need the person in the loop. The person is the most important thing. So I always say, if you want to secure your future work, be an engineer, be a technician, be an engineer, because that work will always be there. People will always need things. Unless we're all lying there asleep with, VR, AR stuff on, we need that thing. Let me put the next slide up. So what does Warren do, or what has Warren done? We're involved quite a lot in theatre and live music. So these are some big, this was a giant 65-foot high robot that we made for Take That. You're all too young for Take That, but some of the teachers that might resonate with. That was one of our staff took that, and that was at Wembley Stadium. We received the drawings. We worked with the team that were producing the engineering drawings for that, and within 10 weeks, we'd manufactured that in our factory in Thetford alongside Boniface that made the spine of it. And then it was crouched in the stage and then stood up over the crowd and then got tugged out into the audience. A lot of winching systems for flying people or scenery in theatres around the world. Balconies, so we pre-make balconies in our factory, up to 1,000 a year that go onto high-rise residential buildings. So the world of construction is changing. Things were always built on site, more and more, particularly in high-rise residential or dense housing. Those elements are made in factories and they're assembled on site. So less work is done by the person on the building site. It's very expensive having people working on a building site. They're assembled in factories. We make the balconies that get assembled into those high-rise buildings. I'm trying to think. That was on the video. We do all sorts of things. So that machine there in the top right, when we say about pharmaceuticals, that machine we've developed for testing food samples. So every food manufacturing business around the country and around the world has to send samples of its food to be tested every day. We developed a machine for an Australian company that has facilities in the UK to automate that testing. So it takes the food sample, it puts it in a mechanical stomach, puts some liquid in there, puts some more things in there, and then produce that sample for the human to then do the complicated testing. We've just taken the monotonous work away. That job that was really quite boring for a human to do, we've freed them. So the person that used to do that maybe was on a relatively low wage has now been upgraded to be able to actually do is it pharmacological? I don't really know. That's not my area of expertise. But the testing, which is a better paid role. Automation is, I had 300 school children, year 6 school children, come around both of our sites last week for National Manufacturing Day. And they were like, oh, there's a robot welder there, there's machinery. They're like, but automate. And I'm like, robots, automation will never steal your job. It will just give you a better job. If you end up working for a company that are not investing in automation, leave and get a bit different job, because the company that don't invest in automation are the company that will get overtaken by the company that is investing in automation. So generally, automation removes job roles. It doesn't normally remove people. Those people get uplifted and given different jobs. So rather than, I can remember as a boy, manual milling, you'd be winding the handles. We don't wind the handles anymore. We program the machine to wind the handles. We've still got all the people. When my mother and father started the business 34 years ago, there was 3 people and my mother and father. There's now 110 people across the 2 sites. So, and we've continuously invested in automation. Will said to me, AI, how's that affecting you? Yeah, it's affecting us. I use ChatGPT. We use automation and AI for programming parts. But there again, it augments the person. It is all person-led. These technologies are not there. And even when they do get there, they will just make your life easier. You will still be needed. I guarantee you of that. What's Warren really powered by? People. I think I've made that really clear. Warren's very, very passionate about training young people. We accept 4 or 5 apprentices at the age of 16 into our business every September. They're coming at 16, so they've done their GCSEs. Some of them, I'm not saying Jed in particular, but some maybe that have joined my business this year didn't do very well in their GCSEs. But it doesn't mean they're not going to make amazing technicians. I would advise you all, I don't know what age you all are, but English and maths, if you can concentrate and get your English and maths, whatever you do, anywhere, doing anything, whether you work in engineering, manufacturing, catering, care, it's quite important to get your English and maths. But even if it goes wrong, there will be places for you. Like the lady said from Lang O'Rourke, some of the best people I work with didn't necessarily go in the right direction at the start. It's a journey. The most important thing for us is the schools say to us, what do we really need from our people? And I'm like, they need to better get to work on time, and they need an attitude and a willingness to learn. They don't really need to know any other stuff. That's what we do. That's when you come to us, and we can teach you that. But if you want to turn up for work on time, you want to learn, you can do anything. The world's your oyster. Jed, come and tell us. So it was easy for Jed. He knew from the age of 5 he wanted to be an engineer. I'm going to work at Warren Services. That's what happened, wasn't it, Jed?
No, so it's quite the opposite. My journey started incredibly late, probably a bit too late. I left it probably till late August when I got my apprenticeship. I left straight from school at 16. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do an apprenticeship because you can learn while you're earning. So that's all I knew I wanted to do. And luckily my friend had someone quite high up at Warren that got me the job really late on, just to put it bluntly. But ever since then, it's been a good journey. 5 years I've been working with Warren now. Learned a lot along the way and worked in a few different areas of the business.
What's the most important thing you've learned probably in those 5 years?
To keep turning up every day and trying your best every day. It might not be easy straight away, but as long as you keep trying, and you try your best every day, turn up, and then one day you'll come in and it'll all click and you'll become good.
Yeah, and even if it goes wrong, innit? I'm just thinking about a particular thing.
I've had a few issues along the way, yeah, but you move past them.
We have an internal joke about a job, but it's things like that. There's a real, I always think as manufacturing is a bit like a rugby team. There's a place for everyone. In a football team, they're all fast running around. In a rugby team, you see some big lads in the pack to do some pushing. You need the fast ones. You need the really annoying scrum half. I think, would I be right in saying, Jed, there's such a diversity of people at
definitely.
Warren Services and in manufacturing?
Yeah, definitely. We have all different types of people. People that do degree apprenticeships. I don't know level 3, but you can do level 4, level 5. Lots of older people that come from the start, isn't there? And then a lot of young people as well. So.
And I think the important thing for us is Jed's at the start of his journey, but he looks at the leaders within the business, and your factory manager, Adam Wheatley,
Yeah.
joined us as an apprentice, did another apprentice. He actually did 3 apprenticeships. It's quite unusual to do 3 apprenticeships. He came to us as a lorry mechanic, so that's what he thought he wanted to do when he left school. Then joined us. My father convinced him to join us. He did a general engineering apprenticeship, became a very, very good coded welder. Then he did he's a fully qualified electrician, test and inspect. So, yeah, the lads and girls that work in that area, they know that, you know, they're not going to get much past him, are they?
No, exactly, yeah.
But do you look at those people, and like Lee, our operations director, came to us as a welder. Now he's our operations director.
It's nice to see that a lot of our guys that are at the top all were apprentices. Some of them were apprentices with us as well. So it's nice to look to the top and think that that could be you in a few years' time.
And it could be you, Jed.
Maybe.
Now, me and Jed have already spoken, and it's about the development of those people. We're not going, oh, right, we've got this senior leadership role, we should get someone with a degree, or we should look outside the business. What we really, really always try and do is look internally. It doesn't say we won't look outside, because sometimes there's certain roles or certain people, and sometimes it's the most, like the job. There was an incident the other day, like a guy that's been working in your area, Brett, and he joined us from another company, he's been made redundant, amazing employee, and then someone's leaving within the business, and we're sat around thinking, oh, what's the solution to this? And they're like, Brett, well, maybe he could be the manager of that area. So, Jed, where have you worked in Warren?
So my apprenticeship was in the assembly side of things, but a little bit through my assembly, we got a bit quiet. So Leroy thought it was be a good idea to try welding. So I done around a year and a half of assembly, so fitting, building those winches that you saw, and then the beacon that was in the bottom left, I helped build that. So then I've done about another year and a half in welding, and then also electrical as well. So within Warren, you can do all different sorts of things, including even the milling as well. I've only done a little bit of milling, but assembly, welding, and then the electrical side of things, making panels for machines, wiring them all up.
What we've realised as a business, we probably need to do a better job. We get these amazing people like Jed, and they end up in an area, and then Leroy's like, no, you can't have Jed. I want Jed. I want to keep Jed. So our programme now is our young people join us at 16 or 17. They're on a 2-year programme. So in year 1, they will work in 8 areas of the factories for 6 weeks. So they work in milling, they work in turning, or both CNC, they work in welding, they work in laser and folding, they work in the Sapphire area, which is the big balconies, electromechanical assembly, the electrical area, and then paint and finishing. And then their second year, they do that same rotation again. Because a young person, when they first join us, is very different after they've been through all of that in a year. So then we will sit down after that 2-year period. They would have done their level 2 apprenticeship, and we will sit down as a management team and then decide, where do we think they fit for us? Where have we got a need? Where are they looking like they're interested in? And then sometimes it might be like Jed, where they go to an area for a year and a half, and then that area is not as busy, because we might have a lot of assembly or a lot of welding, and we will move those people around. And do you enjoy that?
It keeps it interesting. If you do the same thing for a long time, you can get a bit bored. But when you can, like when we got quiet, to then learn new skills with fabrication, different types of welding, keeps it interesting, keeps it new and fresh.
And tell us about what you do in education now, Jed.
So once a week, Thetford Academy didn't turn up today, did they?
Is Thetford Academy here?
Or are they here now?
No.
So we help out at Thetford Academy once a week in DT to help find new apprentices and just give our general help as well. So the DT curriculum, there's DT teachers here. They're great, but they're not necessarily connected with industry. So when there's practical lessons in year 10 and 11, Jed and Alistair will go into the academy and help, with those more practical things, because that's what they do every day. And I think for us, it's giving back to our local community, and you enjoy it, don't you? Yeah, it's good fun. They give some good answers sometimes.
But also for me, it means that those young people are exposed to Jed in his Warren uniform. Oh, Warren, what? Most of them obviously do know who we are, but it keeps that connection. So for employers, it's a good way of giving back to the community, but also we benefit. I was a recruitment consultant messaged me the other day, and I was like, I don't talk to recruitment consultants. And people are like, how do you have enough money to spend all this time working with, the schools and DT? We supply all the materials into the DT curriculum at the academy. So we supply all of that material. I'm like, because I don't pay recruitment consultants, because that's what Jed does for me. 1 minute. And for us, Jed commits, he does that in overtime. So he's paid, but it doesn't affect production. Where my production manager, Lee, who used to be an apprentice...
Keeps him happy.
Yeah, he gets very angry, doesn't he, if we take people away too much. What would you say, we've got to leave these young people with a couple of words. Come on, Jed, to inspire.
Inspire them to work in engineering?
Yeah.
If you've not thought about engineering before, there's lots of different roles that you can try, and if you've never thought about it before, when you look into it, there's a lot of different roles and a lot of different skills that you can learn along the way. All very good qualifications that can help you shape your future. And
this is what powers Warren Services. So we make some amazing things, but it's only down to the people. And the average age of our workforce is 39. And other people that know about manufacturing, manufacturing generally got an aging workforce. We value older people in our workforce, and we extend and have them working, like we have Robin works 3 days a week for us, who's past retirement. But we've got this amazing young workforce, which is quite inspirational for us. Thanks, Jed. Thank you, everyone.